Hi, I'm Rebecca I, and today I would like to talk to you about the topic of adoption and the adoption process. For those of you that don't know, I was actually adopted as an infant. My parents set me down in third grade and explained to me that they had adopted me as a baby. And like any young child, I had lots of questions such as, who was my birth mother, who was my birth father, and why did you wait so long to tell me? Thankfully, my parents had chosen an open adoption, so they were able to easily answer these questions. They explained to me that at the time that they were unable to have children, so they decided that adoption was the best option for them. They went to a local adoption agency and went through the adoption screening process and were able to go to an open house where they could meet expecting mothers who were giving their children up. My parents instantly connected with my birth mother, Christy. Christy was 15 at the time and didn't have parents that really looked after her or took care of her. So my parents actually took her underneath their wing and helped her out and took care of her while I was in her belly. 15 years later, or 26 years later, and I'm still able to have a connection with her, which I think is great. I can connect with her through social media and email back and forth with her whenever I'd like. So let's talk about some of the types of adoptions. First, there's a confidential adoption, or better known as a closed adoption, where there is no connection between the birth family and the adopted family. There's no communication, everything is closed, and everything is done, mediated, for a better word, by the adoption agency. There's many reasons as to why people choose closed adoptions. I think one reason could be that the birth parents don't want any connection with the child that they're giving up, because maybe it hurts to have to give that child up. The next adoption method would be mediated or semi-open adoption, which would be where the agency actually relays messages back and forth. So if the birth mother needed to relay a message to the adopted family, she could send that message to the agency, and the agency would then relay that message to the adopted family. And lastly, there's open adoptions, which is pretty much free game. The birth parents and the adopted parents are able to have a connection. They're able to go and visit each other, send photos or letters back and forth, or emails in this day and age. And I think it's a great thing to have an open adoption, just in case anything comes up in the future, such as medical issues or medical questions. I know in my case, I had a doctor that wanted to know my medical history. So I was able to reach out to my birth mother and birth father and find out exactly what ran in my family to relay that information to the doctor. So I definitely think that open adoptions are a great thing. So what are some of the pros of adopting? Obviously, you give a child a home. You give a child a chance at a life, a better life. If you adopt domestically or here in the U.S., you get a more detailed and accurate information about your biological parents. And it's actually more affordable to adopt domestically in the U.S. compared to internationally. So what are some of the cons of adopting? Adopting can be very expensive, ranging from anywhere from $20,000 to $50,000. The wait time to adopt a child can be very long, and the child may, once you adopt the child may never feel a biological connection to their adopted parents. I had friends growing up that were adopted, and it was sad to see that they had no connection or to their adopted parents. They really wanted nothing to do with them once they had found out they were adopted. So what is the adoption process, and what are the steps? First, you need to figure out, is adoption right for you and your spouse? Then you need to select what type of adoption process you would like. Would you like a closed adoption, a semi-open adoption, or an open adoption? Then you need to choose an adoption professional here in the Houston area or whatever area you are in. Two agencies that I know of are the DePelchin Center, that's located off Memorial Drive, and another one that's more of a private adoption agency is called Trinity, and they're located throughout the Houston area. They have several agencies, and they're very small, which is nice. Next, what you'll go through is a home study process where the agency sends someone out to inspect your home and pretty much go through your whole life to see if you're fit to be a parent. And once that's completed, you complete your adoption profile. Then you go into a waiting period to find out if you are eligible to adopt. Now, this period can be a long time because it also includes the time of when the agency looks for a adopted child to place in your home. So you'll have to wait to find out if you're a match if you match up with a birth parent. After that, once you receive your child, there'll be a post-placement visit where the agency comes out to kind of see how the child is acclimating to their new home and their new family. If they feel that everything is going well, then the parents and the child will go to a court hearing and the child will legally become their child. So, like I said, there's lots of pros and cons to adopting. But the first and foremost, most important thing when it comes to adopting is that you do give a child a home. You give a child a chance at a better life. And I hope that if you are unable to have children or you just feel a need in your heart to adopt, that you will consider adopting in the future. Thank you for listening. Bye.